One morning, Edward was alone in the shed. All the other engines had gone to work. "That's good," said his driver. "We've got no jobs today, so we can give you that new coat of paint we promised." "Thank you," said Edward. "That would be nice." So the driver and fireman brought paint pots and brushes, but before they could begin, the inspector arrived. "Has anyone seen Thomas? I can't find him anywhere." "He went to collect Gordon's coaches," said Edward, "but I haven't seen him since." "Bother! There are other trains waiting, and the yard needs a tidy up. Could you look after the shunting, please, until Thomas comes back?" "Yes, sir," said Edward. Secretly, he was disappointed. "Don't worry," said the driver. "We'll give you a new coat later on." When Edward's fire was lit, and he had a good head of steam, he puffed out of the shed. He was soon hard at work, taking coaches to the station and pushing trucks in the yard. The coaches behaved well, but the trucks grumbled loudly. Some of the passengers were rude too. "What a dirty little engine," they said. "We hope he's not pulling our train." Edward pretended not to hear. By the afternoon, all the work was done, but Thomas still hadn't returned. Edward began to worry. "Right," said the driver. "Now we can give you a new coat." Just then the station master arrived. "Sorry, Edward, we need your help again. Henry's stuck at the junction, and he's blocking the express. Could you help bring his train home?" Edward looked doubtful, but he said bravely, "I'll try, sir. We mustn't keep the passengers waiting." Henry was pleased to see Edward. "Oh, I'm out of puff," he said sadly. "I can't pull the train anymore." "Yes, you can," said Edward. "We can do it together." The two engines were coupled up. Slowly but surely, they got the heavy trucks moving. "Oh, I can't do it! Oh, I can't do it!" groaned Henry. "Pull hard, we'll do it! Pull hard, we'll do it!" called Edward. They puffed and puffed as hard as they could. Before long, they were back at the big station, tired but triumphant. A few minutes later, Gordon arrived with the express. The passengers were cross about being late, until the station master told them about Edward. They forgot to be cross and thanked Edward instead. But Gordon was still annoyed. "It's disgraceful, letting my express be delayed by trucks, and fancy sending little Edward to help. Why not a bigger engine?" "Edward was the only engine available," said a voice. It was the Fat Controller. "He has been very busy, looking after the yard for Thomas. Which reminds me, what's this I hear about you taking Thomas on your express?" Gordon blushed. "I shall talk to you later. As for you, Edward, you deserve a special reward." "Please, sir, may I have a new coat of paint?" The Fat Controller smiled. "Not only will you get a new coat of paint, but you shall have your own branch line. You deserve it for being such a useful engine indeed." "Oh, sir, thank you," said Edward happily. Henry the Green Engine had been shut up in the tunnel for being afraid of the rain. But he was let out again to help Edward pull the express. And as a reward, the Fat Controller gave him a new coat of paint and had all his old parts mended. "My, you do look splendid, Henry," he said. "How would you like to help Gordon pull the express for a while?"
Oh, yes, please, sir,"
said Henry. At first, Henry was very excited. But as time went on, he found that, however hard he tried, he couldn't go very fast. "Steady, Henry," warned his driver. "You can do it." But it was no good. Whenever Henry pulled the express, he was always late and the passengers complained. The Fat Controller began to worry. "I'm sorry, Henry," he said one evening. "The passengers are saying you're too slow. I'm afraid you won't be able to pull the express anymore. You'll take charge of the slow trains while I find another engine to help out."
"Yes, sir,"
said Henry sadly. When the Fat Controller had left, Gordon couldn't help himself. "I don't know what the Fat Controller was thinking, letting poor old Henry pull my express. You better be careful, Henry, or the Fat Controller might replace you with this new engine."
"Puh,"
snorted Henry, but secretly he was a little worried. The next morning, Henry set off with a slow passenger train. He had to stop at every station along the way. He found it very dull. At the end of the line, he left his coaches and went to the yard for a rest. It was there he spotted the new engine, on a siding nearby.
"Hello,"
said Henry.
"Who are you?"
"I'm James. Who are you?"
"My name is Henry. Have you come to help out then?"
"I have indeed," boasted James. "And just as well. I thought you were a big green caterpillar the way you were crawling along just now. You wait until you see me in action. I'll show you how fast I can go." And he puffed importantly away. Henry felt cross. "Never mind about him, Henry," said his driver. "Fast or slow, you're still really useful." Later that day, Henry set off for home. He was still thinking about James. They stopped at the station for more passengers. Henry waited for the signal to change, but the signal stayed red.
"Oh dear,"
he thought.
"Now I'll be late again."
At last the station master arrived. "I'm sorry, Henry, but there's been an accident. That new engine went too fast and now he's come off the rails. You'll have to wait until the breakdown gang has cleared the line." Henry was surprised. A bus came to take Henry's passengers home. They were annoyed, but they knew it wasn't Henry's fault. It was a long time until Henry was eventually allowed to leave. When he got back to the shed, he saw James again. He looked very sorry for himself. "Fancy being so careless," grumbled Gordon. "And on your first day, too. It's a good thing little Thomas was there to help out." "Oh, hello, Henry. Have you heard what happened to James?"
"I did," grinned Henry. "In fact, James has been telling me how fast he could go."
"Did he now?" said Gordon. "Well, I think he'd be a lot safer on the slow trains. You could teach him a thing or two, Henry. It sounds like he'll need all the help he can get." James went redder than ever, and Henry smiled to himself.
"Perhaps,"
he thought,
"being so slow isn't such a bad thing after all."